Hello everyone, here we are at the Global Empowerment Summit and I'm here in the studio, our GES TV with Thila Suppiah. Hi Thila, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm fine. Thank you so much for inviting me for the session. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, and we already have our first viewer, Ethan Gray. Hi Ethan, just tell us where are you tuning in from so that we know where are you right now and what time is it for you. It's in Malaysia, 11 a.m. So really nice to see you here. Thila, we are here today to talk about your story, and I just don't want to, wait too much to give it to the audience. So your story title is super exciting. It's from zero to hero. And I know that you want to empower people by this story. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Always start with the personal touch. So who is Thila? Where are you from? And tell us a little bit of like personal things, like what's your favorite food? What do you do for free time? How do you relax? And then we can go into your story.
Oh, sure. Tila is proud mom of one. Yeah, she's 14. Um, Warm, always giving. Love to work with people. My favorite hobbies. I've learned how to cook better. I think during the lockdown. So that's the best part. And I think one of my favorite things to do is help people, value add to people, because I come from that background. We can share that later. Um, um, what drives me? I think my family is very important to me. I have a daughter, as I mentioned, and a husband. I totally forgot about that. Okay, so and I think they sort of bring out the best in me every day. And there's always a certain purpose in my life. I always look forward to doing something better for me, yeah, and for the family.
And what's your favorite food? Just to get some other type of question here.
Wow, I love pasta. I love Italian. I just don't know why, but I just love Italian. So, and my daughter loves Italian, so I've learned how to make some zip up some stuff like that. Yes, I love that. Yeah.
Mm. That reminds me on tiramisu and pesto. I'm like, I want to have some.
Yes, yes, absolutely. There you
I
go.
just I just want to connect with Ali from the Inti International College. Hi, it's really nice to see you here. Thank you for tuning in and be interactive because I always have a surprise. I will give some prizes for the most interactive, engaging participants at this summit. So make sure I see you in the comments during the 6 weeks, and I will announce the winners on the 7th of November. So, Tila, let's start your story. How do we go from zero to hero?
Very good question. So, um, last year, May 2021, 1st of May, uh, I lost my job. I lost my corporate job. I was supposed to be actually promoted to a vice president and moving to Australia. Yeah, that was supposed to be earlier the year, but unfortunately, we had COVID coming in March, and some challenges. And on 1st of May 2020 in Malaysia, 1st of May is a Labor Day. Yeah, so I was surprised. I got a call, and they said that we don't need your seniority anymore in this organization. So I was like, okay. I mean, I have 26 working experience overall. I've worked in multiple organizations for 26 years, but I've worked in this specific organization for 3 years. And with promotion upcoming, and then suddenly things go like that. I was like, what's happening? And then the next day I was, yeah, there you go, no job. And obviously with no job, and it was a pandemic, as you all know. I was totally, I would say I was totally on ground zero, because I have been doing HR for 26 years. I've been having, I've been doing retrenchments myself to actually be retrenched. That was totally new to me. Yeah. And I was like, what do I do? What's next for me? What's next? But I just couldn't think. And I was in that space, where very deep, dark space, like, I'm no good, people don't want me, all this just came to me. And I was like, that's it. This is it for me. And then I heard people telling me, maybe this is your retirement. You should take it as your early retirement, and you should retire. Now it's like, how can I retire? I mean, I have a 14-year-old. I'm still young. I can't retire. Isn't there another thing that I could do? Is Then I was like, what should I do? And I was in this deep dark uh, space. um, well, all the colleagues that I thought were friends decided not to talk to me, and then they were afraid that they might also be retrenched. And my family members were not there for me. You are in that space. So for me to move out of the space, it took me time. It took me about a month. It was tiring, because every single day I keep playing the whole situation. Why this is happening to me? Why this is happening to me? Why this is happening to me? But I never thought of, what should I do? Because I was in that space, stuck. But after 2 weeks, I guess I got tired of it. I got tired of it, because I started going back, going out there, really, going on virtual, connecting with people, getting to know other people online, virtually, attending sessions, attending trainings. I sort of try to find what's next for me. What's next for me? What do I do? What's next? Yeah. And when I turn around and I see my 14-year-old, and she has been my biggest motivator. You know what? Your mom is not a quitter. Okay, she is going to move on. Yeah. So it was tough, but let me tell you, I moved out of it, because there was a driving force for me. It was very important for me to do this for myself, for my child, for my family, irregardless what others perceive me to be, and what people say. you know Rest, you are going to, you need to retire, and so forth and everything. But I didn't. I took up the challenge. I did all the things. Let me tell you, 1 year ago, I was never in social media. I have no YouTube, I have no TikTok, LinkedIn, nothing. I was completely a total zero on social media. But the environment pushed me into social media last year. And if from August onwards last year, I became very active on social media. Why? I find a way, a place for me to share my stories and my expertise, and how I can value add. So I started my journey. It was tough. I'm not young. Yeah. I've turned 47 this year, so I'm not young. But I know this is not it for me, that I should just retire and keep quiet and sit down. And when I went online, when I started sharing my stories, people were laughing at me. People were telling me things like, "Oh, you should be ashamed of your status. You should not be sharing anything." I was like, you know what? it was so tough to listen to, this kind of feedbacks when people tell you, you should be ashamed of your status after 26 years you're coming out and you're sharing that you're retrenched, and I told myself, only one. This is me, okay? This is my story, okay? If I'm going to share my expertise, my experience, and how I add value add to people, the best thing I can do is to be real about it, to tell people how how is it, yeah? It's no other way. Why? Because that's important, whether it's virtual or not. You being honest and being real stands out. Yeah, people know you through that. So yeah, so I started my journey on LinkedIn. I did everything. I joined classes. I was with younger students. Yeah, initially when I went into classes and everybody was saying, I'm so and so, I'm so and so, I'm a CEO, I'm an officer. So when I went to class and say, yeah, I was just recently retrenched, I have no job. But after some time, I got tired of doing that too. I got really tired of doing that, and I told myself no. So it's a journey, but I really put myself out there. I was when I went into LinkedIn, started writing in August. Sorry, in July. In August, I was appointed as one of the mentor on Malaysian HRFB forum. I was like, wow, okay, I mean, yeah, I have 26 years working experience, but I've never really been out there as Thila. I've always been out there from different companies, standing behind. So there was never a brand like Thila. Yeah. So, and I came out and yeah, I became a mentor. And then I got offered to do my HRDF, train the trainer. And I started, and one of the best part is of the whole thing is that I lost one of the most important thing that kept holding me back. Fear. I lost fear. I lost fear of the camera. I lost fear of meeting people. I lost the fear of attempting new things. I've just lost the whole concept of fear. And I told myself, even if I don't do well in the first time, I'm gonna keep trying and trying and trying until I'm gonna get it right. So that's my story, small nutshell. I can't hear you, Andrea. You're muted.
Yes, I'm doing the double security all the time. So I just want to relate to the audience. It was an amazing story. It was beautiful to listen to you, and they are all relating with you. So I just want to acknowledge Cheryl and Ali and also Premla. And I want to acknowledge also
Premla,
we have Pertpal here.
Pert,
So it's really
hi
really
Pert.
nice that you are here and supporting Tila. I'm really really in awe of your story. It takes a huge courage to do what you did, to go from zero to hero. And tell me a little bit more. So now that you are at the stage that you are over the fear, you lost this fear. What are the things that are happening to you, and how do you use it to your advantage? So what's changing in your life? What do you do differently? How did it open the doors?
I think what was most important is that I started saying yes to a lot of things that I would have said no. Example, I was invited to speak in some trainings, and I think if it was me before the whole retrenchment, I think I would have said no, but I said yes, and I said yes, and I did it. So I've been speaking in a lot of engagements. Initially, it was free speaking engagements, and I take it. It doesn't matter whether free or not. If I'm going to value add, I'm going to do it. So this is how I. So I've been doing a lot of speaking engagements. I've been actually initially I got a lot of I've applied for a lot of jobs. I've had rejections because I do understand with the current scenario, but I've been offered a job and I've started working with a company that actually manages one of the top clients in the world. Okay, so I can't mention the client's name, but I can mention the company name. I'm working for Concentrix, and I'm working as a people solutions business partner for the past 6 months. And as I said, what I do is, again, I help resolve disputes. I manage the most important aspect, which is people. If you are able to manage people well, resolve the dispute, I think that's the one that's going to get us better in terms of engagement and culture. And of course, in between, I do everything. I still do speaking engagements, I still have training sessions. I'm right now designing my own LMS module as well because, as you know, I mentor on the Malaysian HRFB forum. I've been doing a lot of mentoring. What I observe is that I do a lot of sharing with the HR, junior HR practitioners, just showing them the way in terms of how to get certain processes done. As you know, I think sometimes understanding it and really applying what you know is important. So I do that a lot. I also do a lot of research based work for universities and colleges on HR. And also do a lot of speaking engagements, mostly on topics that's related to HR modules and so forth. So this is what I do right now.
This is a story of perseverance, just like Priya is saying in her book. It's really like sticking to it, doing it, taking the opportunities, and I'm loving it because that's how life is. I mean, we cannot protect ourselves from what's coming to us. We can just adapt and get out of it on the best way, right? That's how life is.
You see, I love what you mentioned just now, adapt. Okay, and that takes a lot of courage. I understand a lot of people. In fact, in Malaysia alone, for the past 18 months, 798,000 people have lost their job. Yeah, and it takes a lot of courage to adapt to a different situation, different scenarios. How we adapt determines how we move ahead in our life. If I were to listen to some of the people who told me you should retire, you should don't shame yourself, putting yourself out there on LinkedIn and doing videos of yourself, and some even told me, are you going to be dancing on TikTok? Then it's like, for me it's like, bring it on. You can say what you want to say. I'm focused on what I want to do. So
Why
this
not?
is
I mean, if
it.
you want to dance, you can. I mean, who says what
Yeah,
is
I
good and what is right and wrong? We just have to finally
absolutely,
forget these
absolutely.
definitions.
Absolutely. I mean, if it is going to be for me dancing on TikTok, you know what? Bring it on. I'm going to do it too. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say is, I think very important during current times, difficult times, when it is impacting. I think we need to make sure we shed our fear. We shed our fear and we adapt, as you mentioned just now.
And perfect message for the audience. And we have some comments here. Let me just read a little bit. I think Cheryl is very active. So Cheryl is saying, shows us that learning is lifelong, right? So that's
Absolutely.
something actually
Absolutely, Sharon.
important. And then here is something else. What is wrong with that, Thila? Come,
Yes,
let's dance.
we're going to dance. We're going
So
to
if you
dance.
want to dance, you can
We're
dance
gonna
right
dance.
now.
Yes, absolutely. We're gonna dance.
We're
And as
dancing
I
on our
said,
own beat. We don't even
absolutely.
need music. We have it here.
Yeah, having fun. You are absolutely right. Having fun while doing it, I think it's gonna be the whole. Uh, I think it's gonna help us adapt even better. Yeah, having fun. Have fun. I know it's tough, but you know what? We are gonna get through this. So for all those who are watching, and I know all of you, so many of you are going through the same challenges as well. Remember, every day is a brand new day, and if I can do it, so can you.
Ali is saying also the pandemic resulted in a change of dynamics regarding almost every industry. So the yes approach is the best times like this. Yes,
Absolutely,
exactly. So
absolutely,
yes to
absolutely.
everything, whatever you can. You never know where the future brings you. So even though some opportunity can be seeming far from your approach, maybe at the end there you will find something in it that you can use and it will be on your advantage. But also I believe, Tila, you are on the same page with me that you have to also keep yourself on your own values. So the only thing that you have to check is your value system, your belief that you are choosing the opportunities which are aligned with your system, with your aligned with the
My
belief
principles.
and your
Yeah, yeah.
principles, right?
And my principles. So far, I think whatever that has come through, I'm grateful that I said yes and I can do it. So far, I haven't had any issues on that. But as you said, I think saying yes and doing it, because I was approached for speaking, and I was afraid to speak to people I don't know. seriously. And today I'm talking to you, and I don't know many of the people who are on in the audience. So let me tell you, last year, if you asked me, I would have said no. Yeah, because you know that fear. Yeah. So I guess and of course the little voices around you that keeps telling you don't do this, you're not cut out for it, you don't have that kind of face, you don't have that body for it, you're not glamorous, you will, you know what, I totally shut my ears completely.
And it's also the inner critic, right? It's not just the voices around us. It's the inner
Yes,
critic.
yes,
It's very
yes.
strong in us.
Yeah, 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 no shame, yeah, no shame.
So we have a lot of comments coming in. So
Oh,
Cheryl is saying
sure,
it's
sure.
supporting you. So Thila, I'm impressed by your story. We too, being non-Malaysians here, was not an easy road, but believe in yourself and being positive helps you achieve your dreams. And we are thankful to people here. Yeah, that's the true self. I mean, I'm an expert too. I can just support that the Malaysia is an amazing place. And although it's hard to live here as a foreigner sometimes, we get so much support from the people here living here, and it's just an amazing journey to be here in this diverse melting pot, right, Tila?
Yes, absolutely. I think I know I've grown up, in diversities ever since small. So I couldn't have it any other way. Yeah. I think Malaysia is full of diversity, diverse, and we include everyone. So we love all of you. Yeah. And we love the food too. So yes, absolutely.
So
Oh, Cheryl, I
Cheryl,
think
Cheryl, been following your journey on LinkedIn, so proud of your growth, seeing you grow so active, and for someone who started from zero, thank you for the inspiration.
oh, thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Cheryl, for being an inspiration to me as well. Thank you.
So we have Ali again. Watching this brings hope to a mass communication student like me. Absolutely lovely. Thank you, Ali.
Yeah, thank you, Ali.
Premla, shed the fear and adapt. A strong message. The greatest enemy is the inner critic. Exactly, Premla. That's what it is. And then again from Cheryl, I think you are a whole lot of glamour. I've seen your videos. I need to learn from you. Just do it.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, take the Nike logo, Nike slogan all the time.
Just
Just
do
do
it.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
We're
do it.
repeating it, but we are not infringing the copyright. So it's just we
No,
love
no,
it,
no.
Mikey. We
We
love
just
you.
love it. We love them for coming out with that. And whenever we hear people procrastinating or even myself procrastinating, I was like, you know what? Just do it.
Yes, exactly, exactly. That makes the favorite brand. So it's an amazing 30 minutes with you just flying away. And I believe you gave so much inspiration by your own story. I did these interviews last year and I do 200 of this year. And I'm just saying that these are the stories that we can learn from, because maybe when you are just, listening to someone who you don't relate to, it's not vibrating you with you. And maybe you will never it will never trigger you. But when someone so close to you is sharing a personal story, and I'm really thankful for this, Tila, that you shared it with us. It's so inspiring. It's a strong, powerful message, and keep on going. Keep on spreading this message and love.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the encouragement. And thank you, Andrea, for this awesome session. You empower me. You empower so many of us. So thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me. Thank you,
Yeah, but
everyone.
being there for yourself. So that's what matters. That's what matters.
Yes,
And if you
yes,
need support, we are here, and we are here for each other. That's what
yeah.
matters in the world today. I believe
And
so.
just the last message for everyone, I think love yourself, spend time with yourself, nurture yourself first before you can support anyone else. I think that's going to help. And let me tell you, that is something that I forgot to do for a long time, and I learned how to do the last year onwards. So focus on you first. All right. So it's all about you, all about unstoppable you. Yeah. So that's
Love
it
the
for me.
message, Sheila. Love the conversation. I would love to go on and on and on. And yeah, I believe, audience, if you want to reach out to Tila, I put the LinkedIn link here. So just search for
Yeah.
her name, Tila Suppiah, and you will find her amazing posts and powerful messages and videos there. And please don't hesitate to connect with her. I believe if you write that you have seen her at the GES 2021, you just have to write this in this invitation, and she will say yes and push the yes button and accept, because she's a yes person. You can see that, right? So Selena is saying, you are so right. Love yourself first. So we are closing with this message. Thank you very much. Have an awesome day. I'm continuing with Cheryl right away. I will let her up to the stream so that you also can connect. Just let me change the
Hi.
view a little bit so that we are fitting the
Hello,
screen.
hello.
Hi, Thila.
Oh, love to all of you. Awesome, beautiful ladies.
Finally
So
get
we
to be
Okay.
on the
better.
same platform as you, same stage. Hopefully, we meet one day.
Oh, yes, yes, we should definitely.
This
Thank
is
you,
just the
Andrea. Thank you
beginning.
so much.
So I hope you see each other later. Keep in touch, and just start a beautiful friendship throughout this platform. And let's start a conversation with Cheryl.
All
Bye,
right, take care.
Thila.
Bye-bye. Bye.
So before we do that, let me play the advertisement for our sponsor. And I'm introducing you Priya Mishra and the journey of perseverance. Hello, everyone. Here we are with Cheryl at the Global Empowerment Summit. You see, I told you it will be like a real TV show, changing the people who are coming for an interview. I really love this when there are more sessions after each other, and you can see how we do it in the backstage and how we are doing this whole summit with one laptop, one microphone, and the internet. I'm just loving it. Hi, Cheryl. How are you today?
Hi, Andrea. I'm doing very well, very excited, and as I mentioned, very nervous as well. Seeing all these speakers and listening to them speak, talking about their journey is amazing. Hi, Cheryl. I listened to Cheryl's interview as well the other day, and it was very, very interesting as well.
Thank you, Ali. I'm still practicing, but thank you very much. Yeah, this is how we learn. Just like Tila said, we are going, whatever comes, right? We try everything, and we try to support us. That's in front of our head. That's our direction, to help others, to support you with our empowerment and whatever we do. And we don't care whether we fail or not, because anyway, there is always a solution, right, Cheryl?
And there's always progress, right? I mean, I've been part of this summit from last year, and I can see there's so much of growth and progress, and it's amazing, like what you've done this year, the organizing. Wow, hats off to
Yeah,
you, Andrea.
it's
Seriously.
something that I would like to show to people, because everyone is trying to explain how
Yeah,
to grow. You have all these messages, you have all the workshops, but the most important thing to empower people is to do it, to
do
walk the
it. Yeah,
talk, to
the
show
actual
that it's
action, right?
possible. Exactly, show it in action. So yes, last year it was a 4-day summit with 100 experts. This year it's a 6-week summit with 215 experts and more than 295 sessions. I counted last.
Exactly. Oof,
So it's huge, but
amazing.
I just keep myself fit this time, and I make sure that's my big thing, that this year I promise myself I will sleep enough. I don't start at 7 a.m. I start at 9 a.m. and I'm pacing it up, so I have a lunch
Yeah.
break and I have a
You
dinner
have a
break.
break, you can relax, and then we can get the full package, the full Andrea, right? Full of energy as
Exactly.
well.
Exactly. So Cheryl, here we are today talking about your topic, which is going on the workforce. So
Yeah,
it's something very important, and you are working with young people, and it's
definitely.
going to be something inspiring. So, but before you jump in that, I want to always get to know the speakers, and I want the audience like Ellie and Cheryl and Tila and everyone to get to know you better. So let's start. Quick question: favorite food?
Favorite food? Okay, my mom's nasi goreng fried rice.
Favorite place in KL?
Favorite place in KL? Sorry to say, I don't like KL very much.
Okay,
Can I
tell
choose the
another
next?
place. Favorite place in Malaysia? Let's go further.
Oh, I love Penang. I love Penang. Absolutely love Penang. I'm in love with them.
Favorite country in the world?
Um, I love New Zealand, even though I've never been there. But I like the idea of New Zealand and the people and what I've read about the culture and things like that.
So yes, Ali, here is your teacher. You get to know some secrets about her today. Let's start with your session. So, what does it mean to get on the workforce for the kids, and what should they focus on? Tell us a little bit more about this part.
I think looking at the circumstance now with the whole pandemic, right, a lot of things have changed. And even without the pandemic before this, employers are requiring students to have multi skills, right? You expect the workforce to be ready, like they are fresh from the oven, right? But they're expected to be everything, right? They're expected to be multi-skill. They're expected to perform fantastic at, communication, decision making. Yet most of them have not been in those kind of situations. So I think right now in the industry, there's very very high expectations. Back when I was a student in 2002, 2003, if I'm learning communication or I'm under persuasion, I learn how to persuade, for example, right? I might not know how to use Adobe Photoshop and do designing, but now students are expected to know everything, even though they're from this particular field. They need to know, like com students, they need to also know how to design a poster, not just speak about it. So I think these days the expectation from the industry is also very, very high, and students need to update themselves, they need to upskill, and they need to put themselves out there. It wasn't like our time, even how you search for jobs, how you be present, and with social media as well. This is a real thing, and most of our students use social media for fun, but employers are looking at you, they're watching you, they're stalking your social media profiles, not just LinkedIn. Even if you don't have LinkedIn, they're looking at Facebook, they're looking at Twitter, they're looking at Instagram. So I think there's a lot of realization that is needed from the student, as well as more realistic expectations from the industry. And that gap we need to talk about, right, between academia and the industry, as well as what are the needs of the industry, but finding that perfect balance. Instead of just saying industry wants this, we give them exactly this. Because there's a lot of things that happens in the classrooms besides just meeting industry needs. I feel, they need to learn life skills, they need to learn the basis of why they do what they do. These are some important elements I feel that we often forget. We either focus on A or B. We never look at the balance of things. And that's why we get students or adults like us who are not holistic in our growth. Yeah. I mean, if I would sum that up.
Beautiful message for the young people, and understanding it from the other perspective. Like, we are at this summit and we are talking about the young and the wise being bold together, and we are trying to connect generations. So when it's about the two generations, like, okay, this was kind of like the student's view, right? What is the other side? What is the other side of the view? Like the wise people who are like maybe said at an interview that they are too experienced to have a job, right? This nice word that shows you that Stephen said to me once, Stephen Sullivan, that, oh yeah, they were telling me you are too experienced. And then what? It should be a good thing, right? But they use it as an excuse because, okay, he's a bit older, he's wise, right? So what do you think about this perspective?
That's the thing, right? You're either too wise or you don't know anything. And there's no mid ground on it, right? So why can't we find a balance between those who are very wise and those who, I mean, for me, it's very obvious, right? If you have those who are very wise in the industry, why not let them mentor those coming in? How are they looked at as redundant? I'm sorry, guys, in the industry, but I don't get it, right? You have this wealth of information here. People who have gone through everything from working in teams, having to deal with office politics, guys, you all know that is real, right? Office politics, having to deal with decision making, big decision scenarios. They've gone through lots of things from the time they join as freshies right up to the day that they're almost retiring. So why not? I think sometimes the way we look at the whys, right? The older people in the workforce is like, okay, you've done your part, I'm done with you, bye bye. Like you don't matter anymore. And I think a lot of people that are towards that age group, right? So hitting your late 40s, going to your 50s, they start getting worried, like, oh my God, what do I need to do in order to appear relevant to my employer? When are they going to get rid of me? There's these thoughts. I've spoken to a lot of people, and it's not just speaking to them, but it has happened in many industries. The moment they reach a certain age, it's like immediately whatever experience they have, it doesn't matter. They're like old, they're archaic, they're dinosaurs. We don't want them anymore. And there's so much you get from it. I mean, let me be honest, I never understood it, right? I'm like, oh, I'm young, I'm passionate, I'm educated, I've come in, why am I looked at as a freshie? I don't know anything, right? Compared to those experienced people. But now that I've worked a couple of years, there's some things that you learn in your journey of working that you can never learn, I'm sorry to say, in a university. You cannot learn by books. You can't even learn through workshops and trainings. You actually have to be in the situation, right? And that's why in universities, in trainings, workshops, we try to use simulations, role playing to bring that in. And it's like what Thila was saying earlier, right? When she left, the kind of comments people were giving her. I mean, look at this person who has spent basically her entire life in an industry contributing, being that person everyone goes to, and then suddenly people tell you, like, I don't need you anymore, you're not relevant. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry to say, it's absolutely ridiculous.
No, I'm
Why
absolutely
can't?
with you.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely with you on this. I believe we were talking about this with Marie they 2 days yesterday actually, because she was explaining her new venture about her French adventure, having an inn and making an Airbnb and all these things at this age when she's already fed up with all the
And she's
kind of
working
like
from
working, and
not
she
in
wants
Malaysia
freedom.
anymore, right? Yeah.
Yes, she will be working from France in a beautiful
Yes.
place and creating her own Airbnb hotel kind of like thing. And she was mentioning that she was always for kind of like searching for diversity in the people that she was working with, because then she got everything. So if you have some people who are young, you have the energy, you have the new tech saviness, you have all these beautiful things from the young generation. But if you
get
have
the crazy ideas, older people are scared to do because you've been shut down before, but young people don't care. They're like, no, let's just go for it.
Exactly. And then you have the wise people who are bringing all the experience. And then Krishan was telling me, so yesterday I was having an interview with Krishan, and he was telling, all right, so we can do that we share these things, and the wise people are actually sharing this experience with us, communicating with us, not on a I tell you what to do way, but they are sharing their experience. Okay, I did this in my life and I was reacting on it, this, choose your solution. And then the young person can just take what they need and interact and put it in action, what they like to do. So this is some kind of a dynamism that is missing from the workforce, missing from the side of the HR person or the director or the leaders of the companies, right?
Definitely. I think they need to look at how can we now take this young workforce and the older workforce, and how can we merge them together so they become productive. Because end of the day, you want your workplace to be productive, right? You want productivity, you want sales, you want your what is a better way of doing that? You can use mentoring. If you understand how mentoring works, why not get the older person to mentor a younger person? What's wrong with that? And the skills is not just job match, why you did this role, I did this role, but also in terms of those life experiences, things you cannot learn unless you experience it, right? So this way, at least the younger person, I always tell my students, why I tell you these things, guys, is because I've gone through it, and I don't want you to make the same. You still need to make mistakes. I completely agree that as young people, you still need to make some of your own mistakes, right? But at least you don't have to make, like, say, if I made 70% or 80% of mistakes, maybe you can make like 50%. You know what I mean? You don't have to make as many, right? You still make some mistakes, but at least you had someone to tell you, like, oh, okay, this, right? So I think HR, if anyone from HR is listening, right, you guys seriously need to think of a program which can actually bring together this workforce, and don't wait till the person is going to retire and then you think about it, right? It's like legacy learning, right? Is as parents, like, what is the legacy we're leaving our kids? Why can't we think of that concept of legacy when it comes to the older workforce and the younger people coming in. That's your legacy in your work.
And it has
If
to
that
be
makes
part
sense.
of the HR strategy from the beginning, I believe. When you are
Yes.
searching for people, you search for a diverse group. You search for all the people, like even culturally, I believe.
Yes.
You need
Yes.
people from different cultures, because I don't know how to speak to another different culture, because I have been conditioned one way, like a
Yes.
European. So if I have someone next to me from Malaysia and they are doing my marketing, for example, for Malaysia, they will know what to use and how to talk. Or if
Correct.
I want to reach the older generation and I have a 60-year-old person next to me and they are telling, okay, Andrea, you should tell this and this and this, and all the 60-year-old people will be on
Yes.
that
Yes.
service.
Exactly.
So this is how it works, and it just takes like this, like from
Yeah.
1 minute to the other, you change your strategy and you create a diverse team, right? It shouldn't be so hard.
It's not. It's just the vision, right? And our mindset, right? Our mindset is once and that appears in everything, not just in terms of the workforce, even in health, right? Or in fitness, or in the fact that they are old and gray. Even the concept of how you talk about older people, they are old and gray. You guys should look at my mother. My mother is 65 or 66. I always make her older. If you look at her, you will not even know that she's a senior citizen by our media standards, right? What is senior citizen? Because we've put our so-called senior citizens in that box, right? They don't know anything, they're old, they need to, sit down at home and, just chill, don't come out. But I mean, a great example is our former Prime Minister, right? Mahathir. Look at him. He's in his 90s. Look at how he moves, right? No one will know that he's like at that age, right? So I think our appreciation of the workforce needs to change, whether it's the older or the younger. Sometimes we think younger people can't work or don't know anything because they're young, because they don't have experience. But what they lack in experience, they have that passion, they have that, like I said, those crazy out of the world ideas, which needs this older person to go like, okay, that's a great idea, but let's ground it. Let's ground it down. How can we now take the substance of that idea? You know, you need someone to help you with that, because if the young person works with a young person, it's crazy, a lot of crazy, and then you might waste a lot of resources and things like that. Imagine you put these two people together, you can get amazing stuff. And what you said about diversity, right? Where you are coming from. And now, Andrea, I'm sure you have friends from every part of the world. You got friends from different cultures, different perspectives, different backgrounds, young, old. And I think being on LinkedIn has helped me with that as well. Previously, my friends were maybe from education side, maybe a few from PR, because that was my area. But now I got friends from that, like Thila from HR, right? I've got you who's a dance coach, you just coaching. I've got friends who are from IT, do blockchain. And I always tell my students, I've got friends who are in their 70s, 75, who are running businesses, still strongly doing trainings, impressive people in marketing like Joy Abdullah. And these people really inspire me, because I'm like, wow, if they can do it. And guys, let's be honest, look at the entrepreneurs around the world. Most of them started their journey when? Did they start at, I mean, of course, there are many young people starting off early now, but a lot of those most successful entrepreneurs, Attila, they didn't start at 20. They started at 45. They started at 50. Some of them even at 60. And all the big brands out there, go and research. You will find that they started at the end, what we deem as the end, right? That was their beginning. So I think the definite point of the end and the beginning is determined by us. Whether we are in the beginning, the mid, or the end, it's up to us to decide.
And I love
Yes.
the point what Ali is mentioning here. It's about changing a little bit the mindset of the wise generation, because sometimes the wise generation is very fixed mindset. It's just like, yeah, I have this and this is the way, and yeah, I have this experience. So it's beautiful
Yes,
that they
yes.
have the experience, but then, as Ali is saying, they have to be more welcoming and
Welcoming.
warm towards the youth, to encourage them to ask questions. I remember I was always asking questions from my father. We were driving on the highway, we were going somewhere, and we were driving for 2 hours, and every 5 minutes I was asking a question, and my father never said no, although he was concentrating
Yes.
on driving and everything.
Driving.
And
Yeah, yeah.
today the youth is thirsty for this, thirsty for but they don't dare to ask, because then they got, oh no, I'm too busy, oh no, don't disturb me because I have this and this and this to do. And then, oh no, you should do that. Without explanation, without patience, without understanding, and without just respect towards the youth and the curiosity.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
Cheryl?
I mean, it's a silly question. I always tell my students, there's no such thing as a silly question. I always tell them, any question is welcome. I said, but if you push me to a point where I'm already irritated, give me a while. I will take my time a little while, but I will answer you. I said, give me some time. You push my buttons a little, right? I said, but we need to understand that you're right. You're right, Ali. We need to be more understanding and more warm towards them. But that being said, again, balance, right? Because sometimes the youth need to respect the wise as well, the experience that they come with. And and the older generation needs to be more open to take perspectives from the younger person, because sometimes it all relates to value, right? I think there's too much of emphasis on age and value. Like, you have this much experience, you're more valuable. It shouldn't be that way. It's just that we have different experiences, we have different values. How can we come together and bring it all?
Yes, beautiful. And in the meantime, Cheryl is writing us a letter. And I'm so happy for this letter. So it's about, I believe, you and your hubby. So you are in your 50s. I think experience
Yeah.
sometimes matures your way of thinking and operating. Also, we have to understand that today's generation is more aggressive and ready to take the risks, not worried about first being financially secure or generation felt otherwise. That's true. That's really, really a good point, Cheryl, there.
Correct. I mean,
About the
but
risk-taking thing, right? We are always
yeah,
like told,
yeah.
oh, don't waste your money, save your money, have 6 months of savings ready.
But we must understand where that generation came from, right? I mean, I can't completely relate with that, because I think I'm a little bit like my students in that way, right? But I understand my parents, where they were coming from. It was not easy to get jobs, right? And once you got into a job, you didn't get out of it. It was considered disloyal. It was considered, not the right thing to do. You stay unless they push you out or something happens. You stay, you work. You get a salary, you be thankful. It was not about jumping everywhere sort of thing. But when I started in the workforce, probably my students should not hear this, but I used to jump quite often, every 2 years or so, because I felt I wasn't being challenged. I felt I wasn't growing. But also, I think it comes with your journey in life. As I got older, like now I have 2 kids, I have a family. I can't make those kind of decisions anymore. I can't take those kind of risk anymore, because my commitments are much higher. But when I was younger, I'm like, okay, I don't like this. I have moved like multiple states, right? I've moved from Penang to KL. I've worked in, I've worked in Selangor, I've worked in KL, I've worked in Negeri Sembilan. I can just move anywhere, because you don't have those commitments at that point. So as you grow, your commitments change, your experiences change, your patience grows. You go like, okay, maybe I need time to evaluate. Maybe there's something I can learn from here, but I just need to wait longer. So I think it's us learning about ourselves, as well as giving the chance for maybe our employer to also show us what they can do. Sometimes staying in a job for 2-3 months doesn't show you the company what they're capable of doing. You must give it some time as well. And I think our younger people don't have that patience as well. And I didn't. I have to be honest. But that's why there's more conversations about these days, right? There are a lot of younger people as well as older people coming in and telling us, okay, this is the situation, this is what happens, this is what you can do. But if you look back 10 years ago, even the industry people were not talking about things like this. You would never hear someone like Thila with so much of experience coming and talking to us about struggles. We would just be expected to know everything, and it appears like everyone was so perfect and they went in and they did well, and
Yeah, the
they're up
face,
there.
right?
Yes, there was all this mass, but I guess that's the beauty of social media, right? It's given us that exposure. We can see things that we never saw before. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I love Ali, that he's coming back with these comments, because that shows us that sometimes we predict and pre-assume something what
Yeah.
the youth is thinking, but then here is the youth talking to you. That's now Ali is the voice of the youth, and he's telling us that yes, young blood is a bit revolting. So when you do a little bit of comment, then they just want to bail. So this is kind of like something that we have to keep in mind. We are different generations, and every generation needs to keep in mind that the perspectives, the understandings, the definitions, the reactions, the mood,
It's gonna be
the way
different.
how we talk to each other is totally different. And you, as
Yeah,
a teacher,
definitely.
you meet that every day, right? Like you are talking to these young guys every single day, and you are tackling this challenge to try
Yes,
to make them
definitely.
understand.
I mean, it's always like, for me, it's like a pull here and then, push and then pull and then push, knowing when to pull, knowing when to push. Like what he said about small comments and we want to bail. Like I've had students come to me, or had students completely stop talking to me, who have spoken to me like every day of their lives. They will text me, drop me a message, Miss, is my LinkedIn post okay? Kind of those kind of students who, because I maybe failed them or I gave them a bad grade, they won't talk to me ever again. Even though it was based on, what you produce is what I'm marking, right? I have to be ethical. I can't be. And so sometimes there's a lot of personal, like they feel it's a personal attack kind of thing. And I guess in the workplace, we can't do that, right? We can't use everything as a personal thing. It's not because of who you are or whatever it is. You have to kind of learn how to take criticism, because let's be honest, Andrea, you've worked as well, right? I mean, we've been criticized more than once, many times, right? But of course, maybe how we criticize should change. When I worked in the hotel line, in early, 2005, 2006, earlier than that actually, people used to scream four-letter words. Y'all might not know this, but hotel, right? At the back end, there's a lot of, because in front they are like, "Hi, miss, how are you? Good evening." But at the back end, the amount of bad words and language they use. When I went in as a freshie, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I cannot take it, because I don't come from that environment. But you see, like a lot of employers, unfortunately, are not very careful about how they speak, especially agencies. The language they use. So you coming in, yes, I agree they should change. They shouldn't be using language like that. But you can't be a person who just, they say that and you go to the bathroom and cry kind of thing. So the resilience part, I think, is a little bit missing in the younger generation, because they haven't had those kind of same struggles that the older generation had. And I think
Oh
that's
yes,
why.
that's a very good point actually. That we have a world today. Just
Yeah.
to try to explain for the young guys who are watching us. So we have a world today which is, we don't have wars, we don't have any kind of big events that are so okay. We have COVID now; it's a bit
Now we have the pandemic.
you have the pandemic, so you feel a little bit, but still you are still safe in your home, you are still having a roof over your head, you have food, you have your gadgets, you have your mobile phones, you have everything next to you available. But there were times when you didn't have this,
Yeah.
when it was not available. You couldn't get bread, you couldn't get water, you couldn't get just like there was no phone. So you have to understand that the you are getting too early, too fast angry, too fast. The reaction
Yeah.
and this kind of wall that you put, it's too early. You have to take a breath and count until 10, just like we do as adults. And then, all right, she's talking to me. Where is she coming from? My mother
Yes.
has had a very bad day, so let's just slow down. Let's cheer her up first. And then, all right, after she's already smiling, I can ask again, okay, mom, what was the thing that you wanted to say to me? Right? And then
Yeah.
you start to listen to the message,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
to the angerness, and then not to the
Yes.
bitterness,
Yes.
but you listen to the message. And it's a hard work, but it's
Yes.
how humans will be connected again if you start to learn about this. You don't have this on internet because you put an emoji, okay, like an angry emoji, and that's all
Yeah,
over.
yeah. And we don't talk things through. And I mean, that's the bad part of social media, right? The communication, that process is not there anymore. It's just a yes or you know, and it's a short. Like I was telling my students, one of the friends I met in Penang previously, and I asked her, "Hey, how are you?" And she's like, "Go read my blog." I'm like, "Really? Go read my blog, find out about me on my blog." I'm like, why can't we have a conversation? And most do not want to have that conversation. And when tough situation happens, even me sometimes, I'm like, chances are I want to move away from the conflict. So we don't know how to deal with conflict. We don't know how to deal with criticism. We're not used to it. So the moment and our parents, I think our parents have a huge role in this. And young people, like I have two kids of my own, and I understand it, right? Parents are working the whole day. They come back maybe for the few hours. Of course, during the pandemic, we got too much of our children, right? But before the pandemic, you have so many hours after work, just that short time to spend with your kids. Most parents don't want to discipline your kid because I'm already spending so little time with you, right? I don't want to discipline you. I don't want to tell you what is right or wrong. I just want to be the nice person. So that's also bad because we don't teach them that resilience bit. Most kids can't fend for themselves. When they have issues, like sometimes we send out intern students, they call me back crying. And they're like, Miss, they said, it's work from 9 to 5:30, but they hold me in the office till 6:30. And I'm listening on the phone like I want to cry because I'm like, seriously? I used to go back from work at 11:30 at night, like every day. I'm like, how is that an issue? I mean, they shouldn't do it to you every day, but there are times you're going to have peak time and everyone has to come together, right, to help each other. But they don't do that. So,
That's because they don't talk anymore, because they don't know
yeah,
the perspective of the older generation, because it's just, I was thinking about this lately, that this is kind of like really the way how our reality is different from the young people's reality. They live in a world when everything is instantly in front of them. They
in
live in
front,
a world
immediately.
when they
Yes.
are connecting through the gadgets, when they live in short words, when they don't have to explain themselves, and when they can reach everything just like this with a button, right? But the old generation picture this. So this is the young generation. And then you have the old generation who went through these, working until 11, not having food on the table, not having a phone just to send message very fast, not having the opportunity to order online, e-commerce, whatever, just like 1 minute and it arrives to your door, not having a Grab, just drive or get a car or even a bicycle, right? So this is the other side. And now we want to bring this closer, and that needs understanding from both sides, and it needs patience from both sides,
Exactly, from
right?
both sides, like from the older generation, right? So like one of our viewers has said, why is it necessary to use the F word in a conversation? So they are become so accustomed to it, like this is how it's always been, so we just have to accept it, right? And then like people come in and they go like, hey, that's not okay, right? It's not okay. So sometimes having those conversations, us coming in and saying it's not okay, how things have always been might not be the best way. I mean, that's the thing with the older, sometimes not just the older generation, I think individuals, right? How it's always been might not be the best way. When I first started teaching, they used to print out notes and give to students. And from the first day I joined, I was so against that. And I'm coming from someone who joined the education industry when I was in my 20s. That's really young, yeah. That's a time where there were no 20-year-olds teaching. I was the only one. So I used to go to meetings where people used to just ignore me. And I used to say something, people like, whatever, you're a kid, what would you know? And looking young doesn't help as well. I look even younger than my age. So when I go for meetings, no one really respected what I had to say. And the delivery of how we used to relate to students, they were like, you don't need to be friend with your students, don't need to know your students, your job is teach, just go teach. But I couldn't. That's not how I related with my students. And some people will say I'm very emotionally attached to my students. You shouldn't be. But now like 15 years later, that is the mode of delivery. They're like, you guys need to get to know your students and then you teach, then it's easier. I'm like, well, I've been saying that for the longest time, but nobody listened because I was young. You're not valuable, your opinions are not valuable. So I think a lot of things like cultural perspective, the environment, there's a lot of things that we need to come together, brainstorm and see how we can both generations can work together without getting our egos hurt. So we have some ego about it, right? This is the way it's always been, this is the way we should use it. If it's not broken, why fix it, sort of situation. But because we're in that bubble, as you said, Andrea, we don't know it's broken sometimes. We don't realize it. Other
I
people
believe,
can see.
I hope I can help a little bit, because when I first created these summits, the first
Yes.
goal of the first summit was to break the gender kind of view of empowerment, because I wanted to prove to the people that you doesn't need to have any tags or labels before the empowerment. It doesn't need to be women or refugees or men or anything. It just has to be empowerment, pure for humanity. And then we arrived to this year when we are having the young and the wise. So I want to prove to the people that it doesn't matter whether you are old or you are young, because it's just about you being bold in life today. And then next year we will go to the environment, because I want the people to understand that it doesn't matter where are you on Earth. Earth matters. What happens to our environment matters for all of us. So we will go through these years and we will break every single set mindset. And I will show you that doesn't matter. The end goal is check the cultures, accept the cultures, try to communicate, work on it together, empower everyone, and save the planet, right? Because
Yeah.
that's humanity. That's what we are doing. And then get connected with each other, take care of your family units, and about society. So there are levels of conversations,
Yes,
building blocks here
it
that
needs
we
to
need
be.
to do together, right?
Yeah, yeah. And caring about other people besides ourselves. And this
Yes.
applies to the all generations, right? And we can only do that once we are comfortable with ourselves. Like what Thila said, right? You need to be comfortable yourself. You need to love yourself first before you can love others. And I think a lot of us have not come to that part yet where we love ourselves enough that we can give out to others as well, you know. So I
Yeah,
think these are
that's the first step, basically. That's exactly like Tila said. Like, you cannot
yeah,
give if you are not strong enough alone, because then you are too weak to give and you are taking away from yourself.
yeah,
So at the end
yeah.
of the process, you are like down on the floor again. So you need to be up there first, and then you give and give and give, you receive, and you get more higher, right?
Yes, yes. But that being said, right, you know, the whole Maslow hierarchy of needs, right? We don't have to reach the top before we start doing something. Where we are at, what can we do? Like sometimes in your sadness or in you being upset, you can encourage others, right? Like I'm like Thila when she first started this journey, she had not reached there yet. She was on her way. As she was going, she's telling people, you know, this is a situation. Am I struggling? Yes. I'm telling you, I am struggling. This is the situation, but what am I doing about it? And most of the time we don't see that part. We don't see that part. I'm struggling and what am I doing about it? We see
Yeah,
either
the
the
awareness,
struggling
right? So the
parts.
first step is the awareness, at least the awareness. And
Exactly,
then doesn't
being
matter
aware.
where you are, but be aware. Yeah.
Yes, and how it is done. We don't see how it is done. We just know the end product is, you know, you become a CEO, like or where Thila is right now. She's working for like, you know, a huge company. Uh, we only see that part where, you know, she struggled and she's in this company now. How did she get that? The kids want to know that. Okay, you know, tell me, how did you get that? What was your process? What did you go through? Then I can go like, okay, I relate. Like, oh my God, is that how you felt? I feel that too. I feel like I had no value. Okay, now what I'm feeling is not so weird because I know you feel it too. I think a lot of people need to come out and explain that journey, you know, not just and you know, we have all these CEO talks. They always talk about from up there.
Yes.
They don't come to the ground. And that's why I love to bring in younger people. I used to run this series back, you know, pre-pandemic, Young and Enterprise. I used to bring young people in who are maybe 5, 6 years into the industry to come back and talk about it because they're still there. They still remember what it was like. Most CEOs sometimes they forget what was it like when they joined. They were just like the fresh graduates. Come on, they were just like that. We were all like that, right? When we first started, completely lost, don't know anything. Is it that they have no initiative or they're scared to ask? Those kind of things. Some of our students, I'll be like, so why are you, your employers asking you to do that? Did you ask? No, miss. I'm like, why? Then when they come up with their report for internship or we come and ask them, they will write a nice report. Looks good. Everything is perfect. I'm like, but I had a conversation with you and you told me that it was not the perfect picture that you're writing about, right? But you still wrote that. Why? Like what they feel, what they talk to you about, and the outcome at the end of the day is different. So end of the day, there's no change because what you've documented shows that there was no issue. So next time around, the employer thinks they're doing something great. They have, you know, reached that level because you affirm that, right? You said, hey, whatever you did for me when I was doing my internship was fantastic. You don't want to be honest. And I think sometimes it's very uncomfortable to be honest. And not all employers are ready to hear the honest truth. And vice versa as well, right? We say we want feedback, but maybe we're not willing to hear. So I think growth is about being uncomfortable. It is about being uncomfortable. And I think if the final note, if I would say, is let's get uncomfortable together and let's grow. You know, it's all about progress. It's not about perfection. And once we realize that, we will value ourselves more. We will value others more, and we'll be able to work together because we know all of us are, you know, we are in that journey to make ourselves better.
I have two more takeaways to this session that came to my mind. I'm always writing my notes because I'm talking to so many people, so I have to remember
Yeah.
these thoughts. One of them was the communication, to adapt your communication to the people you are talking to. So adapt your way of perspective, see the person in front of you and see that perspective and come from that perspective when you are talking so that they are on the same level and they feel
Level.
that you are listening to them. Okay, that's the
Very
first thing.
important.
Very important. And then the second thing, what Ali was saying, is killing the ego. And we were talking about this yesterday with Terry during the night because he had his presentation about why let go of your ego. So if you want to listen to that, Ali, that will be a beautiful message for you from Terry.
Very gunny, right?
Terry Gani as the TEDx speaker, and it was a 1 hour keynote speech about how to let go of your ego and why. And everyone should listen to it because it's giving you the big picture, like what ego is causing and what he's relating it to his own life, like how he let go of his ego. He has a really difficult background, so he will explain everything in that video and why is it important. So thank you, Ali. Yes, solution is kill the ego. It's super important to have some confidence in yourself, to believe in yourself, but be always conscious about your ego
Yeah,
and
be
using.
conscious.
Yes. Super conversation, Cheryl. I'm so energized by you, and I think all the audience is. So Thila is also saying adapt all the way. Yes, adaptation is a very important word today. I
Things are
just
always
want to,
changing, right? We have no choice. We have to adapt.
we have
Adapt
to,
or we
that's it.
die.
It's like in dancing, you have to improvise all the time. So improve your improvisation skills. That's all.
Look
Problem
at the
solving,
pandemic, right? We were all
improvisation.
forced to go online. We were forced, we were forced to do the conference online as well. We had no choice. And most
Yes.
people would have never done it if not, adapt.
Exactly. And you have to, like, yesterday I was struggling. I will tell you a backstage secret, right? I was like, all right, how should I show to my audience where are we live? Because I cannot just do every day the, Canva and, all do all this. All right, how to embed the calendar on my website? So I was going on Google and I was yesterday up until midnight, but I fixed the problem. So now you have an embedded little calendar on the website where you can click on it and it's in agenda view. So I even managed that.
Thank
And then
God for YouTube videos and tutorials, right?
yes, exactly. I did that too. And I was just searching for it. And it was hard for me also. I never did
Yeah.
it. But why not? I mean, this is life. We have to deliver a solution to the
Yeah.
people who are asking for us for help. So just do it. Just really do it. Like Tila said, we are using this Nike word today all the way.
Yeah, definitely.
So perfect. We're having all the takeaways here. Thank you very much, Cheryl. We will see
Sure.
you at another session very soon at the panel discussions. And I'm just so happy to have you for the second year. Always inspiring, and keep up the good work with the students. Bring them to a successful life. And see you at another time. And thank you for the audience. Thank you, Ali. Thank you, Selina. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you for all of you who have commented and was with us. And don't forget, this year I have a competition going on, but there will be some surprises coming on the 15th of October. I am rewarding the best engaging audience. So if you make a lot of comments, I see your name a lot of times, you have a chance to win some coaching sessions with me, about $500 US dollars value. It's a long creative leadership session with me, and it's all yours. The only thing I'm asking from you is your engagement, because that's how you grow. So ask questions, put your comments, be seen on the screen, connect with the speakers, write to Sherry right now, right? So just comment to
For those of you
Cheryl.
who want to get self-development, professional development, looking at holistic living, right? You have to subscribe to my channel, YouTube, Lift As You Rise, because that's where we do a lot of our live shows. So, like what me and Andrea was speaking about, we do this like once a month, where we bring in speakers. Like Andrea has been on the show as well, and we have these conversations talking about how to get ourselves equipped, like how can we even use dance, right, to become better individuals. So, check that out, and follow me on LinkedIn as well. Anything y'all can DM me, and let's talk about collaboration, right? And like what we are doing, we collaborated, and hopefully the rest of us can do the same.
We are open to all of you to come to us, even if you are a youngster, want internship, even if you are someone who is searching for a job. Now I have a big waste of like a huge bubble of people coming on stage.
Networks.
It's like already more than 350 people who are here as experts. So I can direct you, believe me, to the right direction and to the right person when you come to me with a question. I can direct you to Cheryl or Joy Abdullah for marketing, or Isabella for leadership, like we had the workshop, or Nishit for NLP modeling. So we have all the resources. You just have to take it.
Power of networking, right, Andrea?
Exactly. That's how the world works today. So take it to a second level and make real connections. That's it. Not just that one emoji, but a bit longer conversation. So thank you very much, Cheryl. Have an awesome day and a beautiful lunch. I will have mine, and then I'm coming back at 2 p.m. With Priya Mishra, with officially opening up the summit. And then we will have here Udunma from Africa talking about intentional living. Then we have Wasim Dabusi from last year also, from depression to thriving in 3 months. So how he did it, he will share that with us. And we have Farida Al-Sharkawi, and she will talk about her Everest story, because she was the youngest person in Egypt to go to the base camp. So stay tuned.
Very proud. She's my student.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I will have her for an interview for half an hour. And then Hardik Yoshi is coming from Mission Thumbs Up Mental Health. And then we have Ambreen on LinkedIn. I will be with Ambreen on LinkedIn Live with a session, How Not to Let Your Dream Die. And we are launching a challenge again. And then we have, this I'm always afraid to say, because I'm afraid of Facebook, banning me. But the topic is with Terence Tan, sex and relationship.
No, they won't ban you. We did one before. They won't ban you. Don't worry.
And then we have the networking party. So make sure you are going on the Zoom room around 10 o'clock, because you have an email from me. In the email, you have the access to all these workshop rooms. So you have to understand how the summit works. Interviews and panel discussions are streamed to YouTube. You can watch it live. You can set reminders, and they are also streamed to Facebook. Same thing. Get a reminder and watch it there. All the workshops, you receive the Zoom link, GES workshop room. Click on that link in the calendar, and you are already in the room, and you can interact live with the leaders and the experts. All the networking parties are the link, Zoom room. Again, every single Saturday, you can find us there, and you can build your connections, connect with each other. Plus, we are on Clubhouse too, right, Cheryl? We spent our yesterday there. Every Wednesday and every Friday around 10:30, we are on Clubhouse, and you can just join the conversation, get to know the speakers, and just have an easy, busy night with us. And we have so much. I mean, I just could go on and on and on. It's 6 weeks of value. Just take it, guys. Thank you very much for everyone, and goodbye, Cheryl, and have an amazing, amazing afternoon.
Bye.